We've lost people, made mistakes, but we're still standing, for now. Subscribe to stay informed. Leave a comment. Your voice matters. And hit the bell. Because trust me, it's only getting harder from here.
How long has it been?
Max asked Ishan, who was trying to get a mid-afternoon nap. Ishan cracked open an eye to look at the date on his watch.
Since we got here?
He mumbled.
Yeah.
31 days.
He sighed and tried to shut his eyes again. Max didn't bother him any longer. The room looked blurry, even though Max had been wide awake for hours. He could only see things close to him, like the veins in his hands, with any semblance of clarity. He blinked several times. He tried rubbing his eyes, but that just made them irritated. He always has good eyesight, but up here everything was upside down. Besides, there was not much to look at. 4 blank walls, blank ceiling and floor, and 90 bored people. Ever since the mutiny, no one had left this hold alive. The birds were not interested in handing over their habitation ring for exercise anymore. Max couldn't blame them. He had better things to blame them for. Though he had spent a month philosophizing over killing Valerie, whether it was the right thing to do, whether it was right to ever oppose her mutiny in the first place, none of it could ease the pit in his stomach, nor the growing hatred he held for his captors. The inactivity of his days, each consisting of 3 meals and a whole lot of nothing else, left his idle mind with only these 2 feelings to stew on. It was a dangerous brew. Left too long, he felt he might actually go crazy like she did and abandon all reason. But that wasn't what Valerie wanted him to do. She wanted him to fight and to win against the birds, and that would require a clear head and a sane mind. It would require friends, too, and right now, he was not in the business of talking to anyone besides Ishan.
Something wrong with your eyes?
A woman asked.
Huh?
Max muttered from his mental doldrums. Her brow was knit in concern.
Your eyes, you keep rubbing them.
Oh.
Max moved his arm back down to his side.
Yeah, for some reason I've been bleary-eyed all day.
Could be fluid shift.
She said.
This seat taken?
She gestured to the corner of the wall and ceiling where Max and Ishan were sitting.
Not at all,
he said, scooting over for her. Ishan stirred a little in his sleep. She spoke quietly so as not to wake him.
I'm Brooke.
Rich.
Max stumbled over his brother's name.
Rich?
She chuckled.
Rich,
Max said with a sheepish smile. Eager to avoid spinning the liar's web any further, he asked,
what did you mean by fluid shift?
Well, up here in space, in 0G, the fluids in your body don't have gravity weighing them down, so they can flow up and disrupt your vision. We've been up here long enough that I bet it's affecting more than just you around here.
How'd you know all that?
Space camp?
It was her turn to be embarrassed.
Space camp?
Max laughed incredulously.
Yeah, I wanted for the longest time to be an astronaut. Went to space camp, did NASA internships, the works. I was in college for engineering when they called my number for the draft.
She sighed.
Well, you know, you're already an astronaut,
Max offered.
We are up here in space, after all.
She nodded.
I guess so. Not much to see in this room, though.
She looked into the distance in her memory.
On the first day they put us here, your whole argument with that girl, the mutineer, she was pissed when you said you'd volunteer for this.
Max folded his arms across his chest.
Well, if they had come in peace, I might have just volunteered too.
Brooke concluded. Max guffawed.
But you're going to be an engineer, a NASA astronaut. That's a future you shouldn't give up on.
Maybe. But even if we die out on that planet, Rich, we'll be the first humans to die on another planet. When this ship leaves orbit, when we go past the moon, we'll have traveled farther from home than any other human being. Not to mention this Tovak Shom is still light years beyond that. We're going to make history up here and see the stars.
Her eyes glimmered.
That's enough for me, I think. What about you?
Brooke turned to him.
Why would you volunteer?
Max bit his tongue.
I'm not sure I would anymore. Not after what's happened.
She nodded.
Sorry, it was a stupid question.
No.
Max waved her off.
If they had come in peace, like you said, if they begged for our help first, I would have gone. I wasn't going to space camps and didn't really have any cool internships lined up. I was going through the paces. My parents told me to go to college, so I went to college. The one thing I can't stand, though, is people picking on the little guy.
He gritted.
All they had to do is tell me they were the little guys. I would have died for them, and I would have been happy with it.
Max rubbed a tear off his cheek. The grass was so much greener in the hypothetical. Maybe there, Valerie would be still alive. And maybe, sharing Brooke's memory of Valerie's first confrontation with him, she'd still be with her boyfriend and family, who she loved very much.
I'm sorry,
He whispered haggardly, holding back a sob.
It's all right.
Brooke said, gingerly patting him on the shoulder. Her own eyes were wet.
We've all been through a lot. Sometimes it hurts to have dreams.
The intercom over the hatch cut them short, first in squawks, then digital English.
All hands, loading is now complete. Rig for low-velocity burn in 5 minutes.
Low-velocity burn?
Max and Brooke looked at each other, their eyes drying.
I guess we're leaving Earth.
She said.
Come on, Ishan, get up.
Max grabbed his friend and hauled him up to his feet.
Oh, man, I was just dreaming.
Ishan grumbled.
We're leaving Earth.
Max interrupted him.
Leaving? What?
Ishan rose urgently.
Prepare for prograde acceleration.
The intercom said, now addressing the humans on board.
Place your feet on the floor beside your showers.
The murmuring crowd descended upon the showers. Keen ushered the last of the stragglers just as the intercom counted down the final seconds.
3, 2, 1, ignition.
The humans who weren't touching the floor dropped like rocks. Somewhere far below them, they felt the ship's engines rumble. But the noise was oddly soothing, like waves crashing on a distant beach. They stumbled unsteadily in their newly accelerated room, inertia gluing their heels to the floor as if they were standing on Earth. Max rubbed his eyes. They were already seeing better. The Admiral chuckled from his chair when Fantail skittered across the floor of the command center, surprised by the sudden force holding him down.
It seems they don't teach you much about space travel at the Xenological Institute.
He smiled.
No, we leave that to your Honourable Naval Academy, Admiral.
Fantail smoothed his ruffled feathers.
How long will we burn?
For 3 weeks as we make our way to the jump point. We're too close to escape the local star's gravity with our warp drive.
Then it seems, Admiral, that we have the best of both worlds.
How do you mean?
We no longer need to take the inane risk of letting them out of their cages for the apes to get their healthy exercise. Look, they're already growing accustomed to it.
That's true.
Admiral Roundclaw agreed as he glanced at the humans on screen.
But we'll still need to let them out of their cages soon.
Why is that?
There's a reason we use air rifles in space. Low-velocity rounds won't puncture the pressure hull if they miss. But I aim to equip these humans with proper weapons. They can't train with those up here. And besides, it will give us all the chance to stretch our wings a little bit, not to mention resupply our fabricators and refuel.
Then we're heading for one of our own systems first?
Fantail guessed.
The last we still hold.
The Admiral nodded grimly.
Bounty. All I need from you once we get there, Xenologist, is a leash.
All right, people.
Keen said to the crowd.
I don't know how long this lasts, but I figure we should make the most of it.
The crowd turned to face him.
I want to continue our physical training here. If we're in good fighting shape, then we'll stand a good fighting chance.
They looked askance at each other, trading skeptical whispers. Everyone had been demoralized by their own guilt. Max's blood boiled at their reluctance. He stepped forward and addressed them.
Come on, people,
He shouted.
do you want these Kentucky Fried Fucks to win?
The outburst widened a lot of eyes.
They took us from home. They're sending us off to die. They already killed some of us. They already forced us to kill each other. How do you spite them by lying down and dying? How can you flip them the bird when you do exactly what they want you to?
His little brother flashed through his mind. Jess, Valerie.
If we die, they come back to Earth and take another 150 million from us. If we live, they'll never be able to lay another finger on humanity again, because we'll be there to defend them.
Max raised a clenched fist. Keen joined him at his side and raised his fist too. The crowd roared in agreement.
I shouldn't have doubted you.
Keen said to Max. Max's chest heaved with each triumphant exhale.
I've always got your back, Captain.
This isn't just a story. It's survival. Subscribe to Humanity Fudge. New chapters await.